All right. Well, hello, Coaches Up for Change. My name is Dee Corchin. I am happy to be with you as we are um, always together here on Monday nights. And I'm glad that you made the decision to join us. This is our weekly team time. And if you're new to our team or you're checking us out, I definitely welcome you. And I know every coach on this team welcomes you. We come together here for community, for learning, and immediately following this call, we have a client call for our clients and for us to participate in. It's going right now through the elements of the life book. We have coach training, and we also have Dan Bell, who founded our business plan and one of the top leaders who has a call available to us every Monday night at 9. So we are very blessed by this. And tonight we're going to be talking about the topic of the mindset of sponsoring. So I'm happy to lead that. Frank Davis was going to lead us, but he is recovering from an illness. So happy to step in because this is one of my favorite topics. And what we're going to do is kind of blend our inspiration into the opening of that topic in just a minute, because I feel like it really works well together. And we posted some pictures. We had a top leadership retreat this weekend. It was integrated nationals and above, a weekend to get away, to enjoy each other, to really pour into each other as leaders, and also be able to dream and plan for our team. And, wonderful collaboration of individuals. But most importantly, what it reminded me of was that each one of these people had embraced the idea of sponsoring, and that has led to all of us being here. So I really think it's timely, the topic we're going to talk about tonight and offering this gift. Growing your business through sponsoring and growing a business, there's a lot of different layers to it. But very often one of the stepping stones is you become an executive director, but like a blended executive director or a FIBC, all of that growing. There's a point where your business has to grow beyond just who you are and who you are sponsoring. And there is a big event coming up in April called Grow Global. And I want to make sure that everybody is aware of that. That is April 22nd and 23rd. And the qualifications for that are that you would be an executive director or higher in January, February, or March of this year. Now, if you're already an executive director, and they call it an 8-point executive director, which means that you have your own 6,000 frontline volume and about 3 coaches with you, senior coaches, or if you run a very, very large frontline volume, you can go ahead and qualify and register for that event. But maybe you're looking to get back on track, stabilize your business, and grow your business. A lot of you guys who participated, maybe put it in the comments if you participated in the executive director boot camp that started this past week. Maybe let's just populate the chat with that. And if you loved it, recommend others attending. That's a great opportunity to just think bigger, think differently. We're always all looking for new ideas. So lots of people have done it. And then also Dan Bell is going to offer Grow Your Business boot camp that starts on February 5th. So we have a lot available to us. And if you live in the Atlanta area, we'd really love for you to join us on Saturday, January 22nd for our regional event. And I know some of you guys from the Southeast are coming. So I can't wait to see you and see you again in person. Before we jump right into the topic of coaching, I'm going to go ahead and have 3 different people share along with me tonight. So what I'm going to do is kind of mix it up and have them participate at different times in the conversation. So what I'd love to do is have Vicki Feldman share with us first. Vicki is a long-term coach. We have one of the first people that I had the pleasure to partner with. And really, I would say in the past year to 18 months, I have seen a significant shift in Vicki and the way she thinks about sponsoring. And sponsoring, if you're new to coaching, what that means is that you embrace the idea of offering the coaching opportunity to other people and bringing on and training other coaches on your team. So Vicki, can you just pop on and spend a couple of minutes with us sharing maybe what fears, what concepts you have worked through the years, maybe stuff you're currently working through, and then what are some of the benefits that you're experiencing and that you see in other people since you've made this, kind of fundamental shift?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And I have 2 screens here and my camera's frozen. So I see you all on this screen. So if I don't look like I'm looking at you, it's just because my screen's in a weird place. So I'm going on 9 years of coaching, which is quite a long time. And I kind of did it on the side while I was doing all of my fitness work. So I just was hesitant to kind of really build anything. I just kind of wanted to help a few people. Organically, my business grew, which was great. And I always kind of had a really good, frontline volume with people coming in and out over time. And I think the idea of sponsoring or coaching another person was, you got to be able to be a teacher. You got to be able to share what you've done with somebody else and help them feel confident that they can then do it too. So I think my biggest fears were, was I going to adequately support somebody? And was I going to be a good leader? And one of the wonderful things, and I'm sure everybody on this call kind of knows this already, is that we've got a great supportive mentoring system. So if you don't know the answer, somebody else is going to know the answer. And the one beautiful thing about this coaching community is that people are very quick to jump in and offer their perspective or their 2 cents, because everybody is their desire is to see everybody be successful. And we know we can reach more people and help more people that way. So, it's kind of like, I think if you think back to like your first client, like, oh my gosh, is my client going to be successful? Am I going to tell them the right things, or something I'm going to leave out? And I remember Dee at one point saying to me, like, no one's going to fail because you forgot to send them the day 3, whatever text thing, like we all forget, like people do fine. I mean, when I was Dee's client, we didn't even have that text campaign, like it just wasn't even, it didn't even exist. So anyway, so those are the things that I think what I've realized is, by actually just listening, being available, and asking questions. Those are the 3 things that I think have served me well with supporting my coaches. Now, I will say, just like clients, you got that client who's going to jump on, they're doing the 5 and 1, and they're not going to deviate. When they're all in, they're all in. And then you got some people that are like, yeah, I'm all into the weekend, or, you've got all of that. It's the same thing with coaches. You have coaches that are runners. You have people that want to build their business. They want to get out of another career. They need to hit the ground running because they've got goals and dreams. And you have other people that just like, I'll dip a foot in and let me just kind of take it a little bit at a time. And I think the important thing is just to meet your coaches where they are. I think the biggest thing for me with, even now, it's amazing how you grow and you see the world differently as you evolve. And the biggest thing for me is seeing my coaches have a thriving business. That gives me the greatest joy. I think before, I was so excited when a client hit their goal, when a client came off medication, when a client, like that success. But man, when you've got a coach that replaces their income, when you've got a coach who's going on vacation, when you've got a coach who's helping so many more people, that to me is like 10 times the one client. Like the exponential reach is huge. So the things that I think get in the way, and I'll tell you, and we've heard it before, for people, fear about posting. What are people going to think? You have all those concepts, right? So I have decided that if I have a gut reaction and reach out to somebody, I'm just trusting that intuition. And I'm not going to go through all the head games, all the questions, that I can talk myself easily in or out of something. And I'll give you 2 quick examples. I was at a wedding and I sat next to somebody who was a yoga instructor, and we started chatting, and she ended up going on program. Hopefully we'll at some point become a coach, and we'll look back at this video and know I was talking about her. But that, again, at a wedding, like who would have thought, right? So I'm just talking to everybody. And then the other one is I was doing some cleaning in this place that I'm now creating as my office, and I came across a phone list from a previous place that I used to instruct, and there was somebody that came up on that list. I thought, she could be a great coach. And then I thought, no, she's busy. You start going through all the things. And then randomly Facebook, something popped up, and that was like my sign. Reached out to her, and I just had a 30-minute conversation with her. And she's overworked, she's underpaid, she's miserable, she has no work-life balance. So you just don't know. Sometimes I think we make the assumptions for somebody else without first asking the questions. And then the last thing I'm going to say that I'm learning, I'm in this process of learning, but just like the idea of I need to get a client, I need coaches. I find that when you truly come from a place of serving, like, who can I help? Can I help somebody leave a job? Can I help somebody help more people? When I feel like I show up to serve every single time, it comes back tenfold, because my goal is to just be intentional and just help people, help more people, help more people. So that's about all I have, Dee. I don't know. Hopefully
That was fabulous. Yeah, hopefully you're in the comments. I feel like, Vicki, like, when you go on program or a client goes on program and all of a sudden the world changes around you, right? You start seeing everyone around you who needs this program. You start seeing it all. I feel like when you make this shift, and really, truly, though, we're going to spend time talking about this, we're calling it the mindset of sponsoring. As Dan Bell says, 80 to 90% of success is in our thought process around it. And and Vicki is a great example, is that once she put on these, I call them her coach goggles, I feel like she can't not see coaching opportunities. Like, she'll just come to me with all these different things. Like, this guy is a chef. He's totally burnt out. I talked to him about coaching. Can we talk about it? Like, all different areas. So that really is just opening your mind to what is possible. So I'm just going to run through a couple of slides because it helps me stay on track. And a lot of times people are different learners. So every now and then I like to pop this in, but I'm going to pop these two things in for a minute. One for our inspiration, because it is Martin Luther King Day, but two things. And this quote here is talking about agape love. So agape love is really putting in your place of looking to seek to understand somebody else and to put somebody else's needs and desires in front of your own and to seek nothing in return. And I will tell you, in my growth in my business, that this was a fundamental shift, was learning this concept. And if you heard what Vicki said, she said, when she comes from a place of who can I help and who can I serve, she feels and sees the response so much differently. So this is coming from a place of love. And I know that we do this and with a program, because we know it changes lives. But I think sometimes we can get tripped up, and we'll talk about some fears. Sometimes we can get tripped up thinking, I need coaches, or people are going to think I am trying to recruit them, when the reality is it's all in their best interest. It really becomes a win-win. So I also posted this quote this week in our coach group, and it's about the topic of fear. Because throw a 1 in the comments if fear has ever been some sort of obstacle for you in talking about coaching with somebody. Just let's blow up the chat, because don't make me feel alone on that. So with this quote, they're saying, like, you know what, fear exists, but courage means really moving past fear and recognizing that what's on the other side, right, can radically change somebody else's life, could radically change your life. So instead of letting fear stop us, really coming from that place of what's on the other side of that, from a place of curiosity. And that's what I'm going to challenge you to do through this process, is really be curious about your thoughts and your fears around it, because there's a lot of evidence that shows that love and fear cannot coexist. So if we want to really put ourselves into the place of love, we'll be willing to feel that fear. It's not that it doesn't exist, but we're not going to let it stop us. So does that make sense? And that's what a big part of this is all about. So what we're going to look at tonight is really, a common look at that, the fears, the reasons, the reasons of why we would want to offer coaching and the trilogy opportunity to somebody else, and also what gets in our way around it. So what I would love for you to do is drop in the comments, what was the primary reason when you said yes? This reason might have evolved over time, but what was the primary reason you said yes to coaching? Was it to make a difference, to have meaning and purpose? Was it to help others? Was it for your own accountability? Was it to be able to maybe shift your lifestyle, maybe be able to stay home with your children, maybe to have additional income, to create more memories, center your life around what's most important? Or was it financial? So some community. Wow, that was a big one for me as well. Actually, the community was a surprise for me. Look at this. So a lot of reasons, and actually a lot of big variety: accountability, income, my own accountability, helping other people, significance. This is great. This is great. So why would you coach a coach? Why would you offer coaching? And these are the primary reasons really for you, is that offering coaching allows you to help more people, really helps us spread this mission. If you think about what we're about, which is healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. And I think a really fundamental shift and something to think about is when you think about, like, you have been given this incredible gift of Optavia. And Optavia is the entire package. So we're stewards of that. We are stewards of this mission. And part of this mission is offering the opportunity that was given to you, which is the healthy mind and the healthy finances that comes through coaching. So I know there's a lot of fears, and we'll talk about that, but if you can think of yourself as just simply being the conduit. So you're the conduit of an individual, whether you're offering the program or offering coaching, or hopefully both, you're really the conduit of the people in your world to Optavia. And then we're going to let the systems and all of that we have within Optavia be what drives their success. You're not responsible for their success. You're the conduit for connection. So I hope that's helpful. Just like Vicki said, like, she always thought it was fun to see somebody come off, a medication or reach their goal. But when you start to see people really make life change, that their happiness of creating a career, the income, moving themselves out of the corporate world, whatever that might be like, there's nothing better than that. And then the other is, creating time freedom, and then also financial freedom. And this is because of the flexibility that coaching can provide. So for the same reason you joined in, this is how coaching can benefit other people, by providing that accountability. We know that, and I've coached for 10 years, you guys, like, I have straight up conversations with my clients that you're 5 times more successful. And after coaching 10 years, I can tell you, clients that keep their weight off, it's those of us on the call, right? Those that we're not all perfect, but it's a much straighter line when we are helping somebody else, even if it's a handful of people. People don't have to grow a big business. There is that meaning, the purpose. Community is a big piece of it. The supplemental income. I mean, statistics on people's finances in this country are staggering. It's very much an illusion of if you think people around you have a lot of money. The time flexibility, and then also being able to center life around what's most important. So we'd love to have Sarah Bond come on before we go on to our next topic. And Sarah, I know you've had, maybe share with us how long you've been coaching, and then some of the shifts that led to, like, you're on a sponsoring boom right now.
Thanks for having me. I've really enjoyed everything so far. Vicki did a great job as well. So I have been coaching. I started off in December of 2020. Yes. And very, very slow start with coaching. But absolutely love it. Things really took off once I got my mindset right around coaching clients. And now I've entered the world of coaching coaches and loving it. So some of the fears, there's so many fears that were in my head, but when I went to convention in August, I knew coming back, because I had hit ED, and I had been in ED for several months. And it was just like, I knew that I was in it for the long haul, and I wanted to grow my business. I knew coming back that I wanted to reach far and deep, right? Wide and deep, and grow my business. So I came back. I was still in my head though, guys. I was still in my head, and I told my coaches that this was what I wanted to do. But I had these fears of, first of all, approaching people about coaching at all. I felt like it was almost like a burden, almost like I was asking them to do something for me, almost like a favor. And so that was something that I really struggled with. I was afraid that I would come off as like having some kind of hidden agenda, because like at first my whole heart was just help. I just wanted to help people, as many people get healthy as I could. And I was afraid that if I started talking about coaching, that people would think that I was just in it for the business side of things. And that was not my heart at all. So I had to find a way to be able to come across and let people know that the opportunity was more like a gift for them. And then I felt ill-equipped. I was worried that I wasn't good enough, that I didn't know enough, right? We all just, I think, feel that way. Like, can I do that? Can I really teach somebody else? And then the time. I was working full time at that point in my life, and I felt like I didn't know if I could take on coaching other coaches as well as all the clients that I had. I was super worried about that. So trying to rush through this because I know time is short, but here's what I came up with. I had to talk to my coaches, first of all, and that helped me so much. Even though we'd talked about it before, when I came back from convention, there's something crazy that happens at these events that really just helps to get your mindset right. I knew they were right, and I started to view coaching as a gift. I knew what coaching had done for me. And results aren't typical, but I had been able to step away from my job. That was something that was a huge dream for me. I did not want to work titling cars at the county clerk's office anymore. And I knew that I could make a business out of helping people. And so I started to view this as a gift and decided that I was not going to make the decision for other people, whether this was going to benefit their lives or not. That is not up to me. I just need to share. And to let them know that they can have a rewarding and fulfilling career as a health coach, and it is a gift. The other thing is huge, guys, celebration calls. My coaches preached this to me. You've got to bring your clients to celebration calls. And I was so hesitant. I'm like, I don't have time. I don't have time for that. I got to schedule 3 different people on a call, me, you, and a client. Like, do you know how hard that is just to get the clients to come to a call sometimes? Nah, wasn't going to do it. But when I started bringing my clients to celebration calls, it was a complete game changer because your mentors have already worked through the fear of talking about coaching. They're one step ahead of you. And so it doesn't bother them to bring up coaching. And so once they start dripping in coaching on these celebration calls, all of a sudden it becomes more common and more normal for you to start talking about coaching as well. So when I started bringing on, or when I started doing celebration calls, that changed everything. As far as being ill-equipped, my coaches edified me. My mentors edified me. And that's what this community is all about. They can believe in you. They can see what you are capable of a lot of times before we can. And I just trusted them. I felt like they know what they're talking about. There's no sense in me trying to reinvent the wheel. I need to trust the system and just go for it. And so that's what I did. And then as far as time, I was working full time, but coaching coaches is duplicatable, just like coaching clients. Once you get them off and running, you're good. And we have this whole team of people to fall back on and ask questions and be there for. So everything is duplicatable, and it frees up your time in the long run to have coaches on your team. So I'll leave it there, I guess.
That was so good. I love how you took your fear and then what the reality was, what the fear was. But I think that the biggest thing that I heard that just, I think when you said it's a gift, and who am I to decide? Who am I to decide for them? And the other thing to remember, you guys, is that the first time we introduce coaching to somebody, I could put money down 9 times out of 10, the answer is going to be no. And the second time you bring it up, the answer will probably be no. And I don't know, drop in the comments. I know Vicki said she just did it to get her coach offer back, but I mean, how many times did your coach talk to you about it? Most of the coaches I know, the leaders I worked with, some people, it was years before they said yes. So that's, I think the other thing is the consistency. And like, I always think if someone knew what I knew, they would do what I do. Right. That's what Dan says. It's, whether it's the program or coaching. So what we're doing is we're awakening and starting to try to crack the door to see if we can have them take a look at it. So let's go back real quick. Because I know we did have one more person. What I would love for you to talk about, if you would be so transparent, is to maybe drop in the comments. I know Sarah talked a lot of fears, and also Vicki, but what were some of your fears, or what is your fear right now about coaching or offering coaching or coaching another coach? Let's look at that for a minute. Drop in the comments what that was. I was like Sarah. For the longest time, I'm gonna be straight up honest. I would say to myself, people are coming to just lose weight and get healthy. They're gonna think it's weird if I bring up coaching. Straight up, that was mine. Same as Sarah thought. I thought that they would think that I was trying to get them to do something. And I will tell you, your first couple of conversations will feel weird. And it is practice and continuing to talk, right? There it is. So we think a lot of common things that we don't have the time, that we don't feel equipped, that we don't know enough. Okay. Right. Wouldn't know how to lead them well. I will tell you, I still feel some of those fears. I still feel some of those fears. They can come back in, don't want to mess it up. Right. But the reality is, just like kind of for the program, like when you were first a coach, like for the program, you probably didn't do it as great as you do now. It is something that you will continue to develop skills on. And that's why we team coach. And we're going to spend a lot of time over the next few weeks talking about team coaching and what that means and what that looks like, and how these tools of tips and celebration calls, that's how we integrate our clients, help them see the full picture. But before we move on, I want to make sure you guys can hear from Michelle. She has shared before, but she just continues to grow in this area. I always think about Michelle Labe. You're going to have to help me with the pronunciation. I always think I'm going to get it right, and then it comes out wrong. So help me with that. I can relate with the name Corchin. But Michelle, I feel and have seen such a shift in what I would consider agape love with you. So I would love you to spend a minute on what's transpired in your coaching career with this.
Okay, it's pronounced Labby.
Labby. Thank you.
So just to get that off our plates, and well, thanks, Dee. I'm sitting here listening to everybody going, oh, yes, 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 and oh, yes, and yes to so much of what has been said. And the funny thing is, Dee, though, when you feel like you're over the hump with something, it's almost hard to remember what that was like, right? But when I first started coaching, I came on board in June of 2020 as a coach 2 weeks after I started, for two reasons. One, I knew myself, and that if I didn't learn it and then turn around and teach it, I wasn't going to do it well. That's just how I'm wound. I knew that about myself from the get-go. The second was to help my husband and I afford the program, because I knew eventually he would do it too, which he did just about a month later. And then I just had a dream. My dream is to get my husband off the road. And I knew that one of the ways to do that was going to be through coaching and building a business. But I had no idea what that journey was going to be like for me, how that would make me feel, how I would grow, how I would learn so much from everybody on these calls, and then turn around and be able to help other people to get what they want. In the beginning, I think I've shared this before, it was more about my rank, because I knew with a certain rank came a certain expectation of income, right? Or so if you did the numbers and everything, you could figure all that out. Not that I didn't love my coaches or my clients, but I was driven with this desire to get my husband off the road as quickly as possible. So it really became more about me rather than about serving my people. And I got really caught up in that. And then with that, I started to develop more insecurity and more fear, because I wasn't focused on the right things. I wasn't focused on other people. I was focused more about what I needed and what I wanted. And then I did some coaching with habit finders and really started to look at agape love, and did a lot of self-reflection and working through that. And I couldn't tell you what the breakthrough moment was for me exactly, but it was this progression of wanting, all of a sudden there was this shift, like I just got it, that it wasn't about me. It was really about helping other people get what they want, what they need, and looking at coaching as such a gift because it can be a gift in different ways for different people. For some, it's the gift of accountability. For some, it's a gift of financial freedom. For some, it's a gift of camaraderie and community. And it can be so many different things for so many different people. And then just keeping my eyes open. So just like over this last weekend, I'm on Facebook and I see a woman who I've been talking to. She's a nurse practitioner across the year. She just had a new baby. And there was something in that picture I saw that made my heart break because I knew that she was going to have to leave that child. So I reached out to her. How's it going? And we had a coach explore together. She's really now considering becoming a coach, right? Then there was another friend of mine who's an MA. She just became a coach this week. And when I first saw her in the doctor's office, she was very pregnant. And I'm like, she's going to make an amazing coach. She needs to for this kid. She needs to stay home with her child. And so, but it was God that put us back together because when I went back in the office, she wasn't there. And then she met my husband in getting her car fixed and we got reconnected. She came to my house for Christmas and now she's a coach. There's so many stories like that now where I look at people from a different place. This is such a gift that coaching can do for other people. And it's not about what it can do for me. It's about how can it help them and just learning how to work with people. So I still have fears that come up on sometimes too often of a basis, but now I've learned how to like move forward and not let those consume my thoughts or let them consume my actions and just really focus on how can I help somebody else? How can I help them? What can I do for them? And that's really it. For me, I appreciate I really can relate to everything that has been said here tonight. I've thought it, I've done it, I've gone through it. I mean, and we're all going to keep evolving. But the most important thing is remembering the gift that we have in this program, what it can do for others. I've been able to leave my job. We are so close to being able to get my husband off the road. That is even a possibility. It makes me cry. It's amazing. It's such an amazing opportunity just by helping others get what they want, right? And helping them that your dreams can come true too. So if you're sitting here thinking, I can't do this, you can do it. You're in the right place and you belong here. You have a place here. So don't give up. Just reach out to your mentorship and they will be so willing to help you.
Oh, pure gold. Pure gold. Thank you, Michelle. So many of the fears we talked about a few minutes ago were, I don't know if I know how to do, if I have time. I don't know if I know how to lead somebody. I don't know if I know how to help them. I don't know if and I think that was a fundamental shift that I learned is that we've got to take the I, which is the me, out of the equation. Like there are systems in place, there is support available, but what's on the other side is the ability to help somebody else. And they may or may not see it at first. I think Monica asked a question about, about what happens if they order a kit and they don't do anything. That's where that motivation and that desire, because if we're not careful, those fears scream at somebody. I truly believe in my heart, nobody offers a health coach kit with the intention of letting it sit on a shelf and get dusty. What happens is that they order that health coach kit and then the fear overrides the desire, overrides what it was and that might be you sitting here right now saying, I've got this other piece of the gift to give away. I just can't seem to get there. And so the three things I would challenge you with as we're leaving is I would challenge yourself to just be curious. Just be curious about what is your thought process about coaching? What are the reasons that you're telling yourself that you don't have coaches on your team? And the second one, then no judgment, just be curious about it because we've all been really honest here that these thoughts go through all of our minds. The second one, the second challenge would be just go through your clients on their health assessment. Don't even have to talk to them about it yet. Just write down how you think coaching could benefit them. because I want you to start getting in the mindset of them, how could this benefit? And it might be as simple as the accountability, because that's actually the big one. And then if you're not doing tips and celebration calls, let's get one on the calendar for all of your clients, all of them, right? Like Sarah said, she thought it was going to take up too much time, but she realizes now it's saving her time and the blessing that other people have experienced. So I want to let you go and go over there and get on those other calls. Thank you guys for being on tonight. Thank you to our team of stellar leaders that shared with us. And we're going to continue this conversation every day this week. You guys, one of the top leaders, started with Lori Cole today, are going to share their story and what they worked through with coaching and benefited. So check the Coaches Out for Change every day this week for that live. All right. So we're here for you, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.